Good evening and welcome to the Job Search Solution, the radio program where we talk about looking for a job, jobs, changing careers, hiring. And as always, we begin with a prayer. Dear God, grant us thy peace and thy mercy, thy will be done. So why does it take so long to get hired? Why is it so hard to get hired? Well, one of the major reasons that it's so hard to get hired and why it takes so long to get hired is that your potential employer doesn't want to make a mistake. In fact, that's one of the underlying mantras, one of the largest underlying mantras of every hiring authority in every hiring situation. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a mistake. We don't want to make a mistake. Not only do I hear it, but people recite this to themselves all of the time. They don't want to take a chance. They don't want to make a mistake. They don't want to make a mistake. Why is that? Well, if you're an engineer, for instance, and you make a mistake in your drawings, you just go back to the computer and you fix it. Maybe people know it, maybe they don't. If you're an accountant, you can go back and, we used to have erasures on pencils because you could go back and correct your mistakes. Well, you can go back to the computer and correct your mistakes, and maybe a few people will know it, maybe they won't. So you're a production supervisor and something goes wrong in the production arena, you can go figure it out, and very few people may know it. But when a hiring authority hires a doofus, and that person turns out to be a bad employee, everybody in the company knows it. And the person that is doing the hiring is also considered a doofus. Well, nobody wants to look like a doofus, so they don't want to make a mistake. Well, you know how long it takes to get rid of a hiring mistake. It takes a few weeks to maybe hire somebody. It takes months sometimes to get rid of your mistake. And nobody likes to look that way. They don't want to look like a doofus. So what do? They have ad infinitum number of people interview a candidate because they don't want to make a mistake. I've had as many as 16 people interview a candidate for a first-line management job. The average these days in this pandemic is probably 5 or 6. When it's not a pandemic or a recession, it's probably 4. But people, and they involve people that have absolutely nothing to do with the job. By the way, as a footnote, here's the rule of thumb. If the person interviewing the candidate, if their livelihood doesn't depend on the candidate's ability to do the job, and their livelihood, in other words, their earnings, have something to do with the candidate's ability, they shouldn't even be involved in the interview. I can't tell you the number of times that I've had candidates interviewed by people who actually said, I don't even know why I'm interviewing you. I don't have anything to do with this job. Well, it's because the people that you're interviewing with want to spread the risk. I mean, think about it. How many job descriptions have you ever seen where they said must be able to prove that the successful candidate is good at hiring and retaining good people? We tell ourselves that that's one of the most important things that we do. I rarely, if ever, see it on a job description. Why? Because people just assume if you're an engineering manager or you're an accounting manager or you're a sales manager that you know how to hire people. Well, that's not true. Lots of people don't know how to hire people. So they want to spread the risk and they're afraid of making a mistake. So they have all kinds of people interviewing the candidate that have nothing to do with the job. Now, you can complain about this all you want if you're a candidate. If you're a hiring authority, get real. I suggest no more than 3 people be involved in it. In fact, I guarantee you that I have studies that show that one person doing the interviewing and hiring is no less successful in their hiring than if they have more than one person involved in it. But we all want to spread the risk. We all want to make sure that we get somebody in that everybody likes, that's going to get along with everybody, get everybody's opinion. And it's all because we don't want to take a risk. Now, this is especially true when a company is trying to replace somebody that hasn't worked out. They've made a mistake, and now they're so afraid of making another mistake that they invent all kinds of cockamamie ways of interviewing, testing, interviewing with everybody that bunches of people that have absolutely nothing to do with the job, all because they want to spread the risk. So if it doesn't work out, they can say, well, you voted for him too, and it becomes a vote. I can't tell you the number of times that I've seen situations where the candidate actually got voted on. I had a situation one time not too long ago where the candidate interviewed with somebody who said, I don't even know why I'm interviewing you. I have nothing to do with this job. Well, I guess it's because the guy that was supposed to interview you is sick, so they plugged me in here. Well, guess who said they didn't think the candidate was going to fit? That guy. He had nothing to do with the job, and he could absolutely care less. So they're trying to spread the risk. What's that mean to you if you're a candidate looking for a job? You better be ready for this. Don't complain about it. Don't moan about it. Don't be upset by it. Just realize that you're going to go under the microscope. These people are thinking about why they shouldn't make a mistake, and you better be sure that you offset any risks that you might provide or you might be to a prospective employer. All right, we're going to take a short break. Stay tuned. This is Tony Bashara with the Job Search Solution.